Speaker.
This is a split call.
This is a split call. Yes.
I'll call Dr. Megan Woods.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it's my pleasure to take a short call on this bill. The last speaker said he was going to focus on the title of the bill, the Taxation, Transformation, First Phase, Simplification and Other Measures Bill. I will come back to that. I think the reason the last speaker read it out is because really he had nothing to contribute to this debate. I think what we have seen in this House tonight is an incredibly low standard of debate, a low standard of debate where actually there is some political consensus around what should be. I mean, they're very simple measures. So if we take, for example, the flexible tax for business. Now, this is going to be a popular policy. I know this because when I was out talking to businesses in Wigram, when Labor launched this policy, they liked it and they thought it was a good policy. So to have the kind of standard of debate we've had in here tonight, where all people can talk about is growing up political relationships and what they mean, is disappointing. All I can say, Mr. Speaker, is it smacks of someone whose relationship is going bad. After all, they have David Seymour through all the budget debates telling everyone in front of everyone how dissatisfied they were with their relationship.
I was talking about relationships and I was sat
Look,
down.
I'm the judge of this, and the member will sit, and I'll ask the member to come back. Third reading, Dr. Megan Woods.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was just pointing out the absurdity of the level of debate and just how obsessed the opposition are. But, Mr. Speaker, if we are going to talk about this legislation, and other speakers have talked about this, I think what it suffers from is a branding issue, this piece of legislation, because it has a very grand name. It purports to be transformational, and then we have some very micro changes. If we're thinking about the kinds of changes that we could have after 8 years in government, is this what we would dream up? Is this the big idea that the government has got? It's a tired, old government that has run out of ideas, has nothing new to offer, and can't even string a 10-minute speech together from its backbenches on a piece of legislation that should be a walk in the park, that it should be a doddle. Because, Mr. Speaker, there are some sensible measures in this legislation. I've talked about the flexible taxation for business. We're seeing some sensible measures like the fact that the IRD can now send emails and not a pigeon to communicate around some of these issues, which is sensible. This is about bringing our taxation system in very small ways into the 21st century. But, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't address some of the big transformational ideas about taxation that we would like to see on this side of the House. There is nothing in this legislation that addresses the very real and growing concern that New Zealand is being increasingly recognised internationally as a tax haven. And that's because that is an issue that this government will not own up to. It is an issue that this government will not own. They say, not a problem, nothing to see here, look the other way. While all the time New Zealand is developing a reputation on the international stage of something where tax dodgers can hide their money away and not pay their fair share. And, Mr. Speaker, that is the kind of issue that we would see that needs to be addressed in a bill that purports to be about transformational issues in terms of our tax system. Because, Mr. Speaker, we know that there are many things that we need to do in this country, and many of them do involve our tax system because it is an important lever, Mr. Speaker.
Called James Shaw.